Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, author of I Am, Amanda de Geneste. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Amanda de Geneste. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you here. You know, you're author, survivor of sexual abuse, different things. We're going to unpack all of that. But First and foremost, let's talk about you. Who is Amanda de Geneste?
Amanda de Geneste is a surviving victim of child molestation and sexual abuse. I am also a retired law enforcement officer from the Kings County District Attorney's Office. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. Migrated here when I was 10. I worked in the district attorney's office for 22 years. 7 of that 22 years, I was the lead investigator for crimes against children.
Wow. And that's so fitting because having been a survivor of that, and then now working or having worked in that capacity, that's great.
Yes, it I guess you can say gave me an upper hand being a survivor and dealing with the victims and their family. It really helped.
Absolutely. Tell us about how that kind of came about, though. When choosing your path as a young girl, you're here, you're trying to figure out, because now even in high school, they start grooming you. What do you want to do? Like the rest of your life, which is such a difficult thing to craft when you're a younger person. Did you always have that path or desire to want to go into law enforcement?
No, I didn't. It's one of those things I have to say God just led me to it. Subconsciously, maybe I thought about always wanting to help people, and the opportunity came upon, and I came upon the opportunity, and I took advantage of it. So
that's amazing. So those years that you spent working there, tell us about finally, so you're a victim, you're working there. Did that ever kind of brew anything inside of you, bring anything back, or take you back to a place when you were experiencing that?
Absolutely, especially when dealing with the children victims. It would bring back memories and give me the feeling of really wanting to help them. And the position I worked in the DA's office, a lot of times we wanted to make sure that the witnesses and the victims were comfortable. And I felt that, especially when it came to sexual abuse victims, they felt a lot more comfortable just knowing that there was someone there, not just as a detective, but someone who experienced certain things. And I tried to make them as comfortable as possible. I tried to speak to them in a way that I know I would have wanted to be spoken to.
Absolutely. And that's great. And then, you know, having the book and all that stuff. But if you're comfortable sharing, can you kind of just give us a high-level overview of the abuse that you experienced?
Yes. When I was very young, I would say maybe about 6 or 7 years old, my older half-brother used to molest me and eventually sexually abused me. It was terrible to feel that this was someone you're entrusted to take care of you. And of course, I was so young, I didn't even realize it was something that shouldn't have been happening. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until one night I heard him coming up the street whistling, and I got up and locked the bedroom door that I was in with my little nephew. And he kept trying to pry the door open. I fell asleep in so much fear that night, this little girl. And in the morning, in the wee hours of the morning, my sisters were banging the bedroom door down. When I finally opened the door, they asked me why did I lock the door. And because of that, I had the opportunity to tell exactly what was happening.
Wow.
Yeah, so, when you're young, and that's why I say it's so important to have that conversation with your children so that they would know these things exist. As a parent, you want to stay alert. I say continually, anyone can be a sexually abused victim, and we have to remember anyone can be an abuser.
And that's a very, very true point.
Yes.
Because we're always, the whole stranger danger and training everybody to look
Right.
outside, and then realize it's your closest
It
people.
can be. Yes, they say 90% of the time the abuser is someone that the child is close to, the child and the family is close to.
Absolutely. And it's an important message. I think it's just, it spans across all cultures. First and
Absolutely.
foremost.
Absolutely.
So there's no labeling that anyone's exempt from anything.
Absolutely.
But there are certain cultures where, what happens in this house stays in this house, and things don't get discussed. And that's where I think it's a problem.
When it comes to child sexual molestation and abuse, I think the majority of the time it's a secret that they want kept, because the majority of the time it's a close friend or a family member. So there's a certain amount of shame in telling the story. And I advocate against child sexual abuse because, and one of the things is I feel the silence of it needs to be broken. We need to break that stigma. The silence creates a blanket for the abusers to hide under. And in this day and age, I have to say no more. No more. And if me telling my story is going to encourage other people to speak up, then I want to tell my story to the world.
Absolutely. And how did your family receive that when you decided, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to speak about it? Because that is putting the family out there to a certain degree.
Yes, they were very excited for me, and they have always been a great support system for me, especially my older brother Victor and my younger sister Jasmine. They always encouraged me to write, and they kept pushing me to publish the book. When are you going to do this? When are you going to publish the book? So I have a very large family, 9 brothers and sisters. Everyone took it very good. They were very supportive of it. My kids were supportive. And they all agree it's a topic that needs to be talked about.
For sure. And I think the timing is right. I don't think should ever be perceived as something negative, because you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, it's very therapeutic. And in our next segment, that's definitely something I want to get into, is just the therapeutic aspect of writing this book.
Yes.
For sure, because it's a lot. You've unpacked a lot, and years later. How long after the abuse did you decide to start writing?
I started writing when I was about 15.
Hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Amanda, you said you started writing in your teens. What were some of your first and early writings?
It was Definitely about the sexual abuse.
Directly?
Yes. It was something excuse me, I carried so much in regard to the abuse, and I needed to find something to do with the information. It's not that my family didn't know about it. They knew what had happened, but it's not like they understood we needed to talk about it in order to fix the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I found my own way of letting some of it out, and that was to put it on paper. I would go back and I would read it, and it helped me to process.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the sexual abuse. If I was hurting about something that was happening in life, loss of someone, I would write things down just to help me process it. I had no idea it was therapeutic for me. I was just writing, and somewhere along the line, I started writing it in a poetic form. The things, some of them were so ugly. I guess that was my way of putting it down in a nice way so that I could process it, so that I can ingest exactly what took place. And it really worked for me.
No, that's amazing. So tell us about the book.
Okay, the book is autobiographical poetry in regard to not just sexual abuse and child molestation, in regard to adversities one may go through during their lifetime, loss of loved ones, disappointments. Some of my poems, I'm even praying and thanking God for getting me to where I am. But it shows a pattern of the fact that when a child suffers child sexual molestation and abuse, there can be lifelong-term effects from the trauma. And with that, some of the decisions they make can be devastating. And shows my journey from when the the sexual abuse took place, through some of the relationships I've had, some of the bad decisions I've made, a lot of what it cost me because I didn't get the right help. So it's...
And share some of that, because that's an important... You brought up some very, very pivotal points there, because people don't understand that, because now you went through this trauma, and then any other guy that you get with, or girl, any type of relationship that you might have that could be a romantic relationship, that is going to be affected by that.
Absolutely. And especially in my situation, I was abused at a very young age for quite some time. So growing up, I had this false sense of what a relationship should be.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know for a certain part of my life, promiscuity was something I dealt with. It was a short period, but nonetheless, that was one of the things I
that
dealt
temptation,
with.
That little...
Yes, thinking this is what you're supposed to do. But it leads to so many different emotional setbacks, and you don't even realize it. The way you choose your boyfriends or your girlfriends, the decisions you make as far as being sexually active.
Mm-hmm.
I loved high school, yet still I became a high school dropout. I hated sex as a teenager because of the sexual abuse.
Yeah, and because your first encounter wasn't anything good.
But yet still, here I was, a teenage mother. So the abuse affects you in so many different ways. And for people that don't know how to externalize it, I keep saying it's so important to find someone that specializes in adult survivors of child sexual abuse if you're older now. But you have to make sure you get that help.
That's important. Do you think you are fully healed, or you could ever be fully healed for people who have experienced this?
I say I am as good as I am going to be today. And then when tomorrow comes, I know I'm going to be a little better.
That's amazing. What about your situation still haunts you? Or do you think you want to grow, you get, as you said, you're as good as you could be and you're going to keep getting better? It's like a forever process.
Right. I have to tell you, I'm at a point where I'm not haunted by it anymore.
Good.
I have spoken about it so many times, dealt with it in so many different ways. I'm not haunted by it. I have learned to accept the fact that it is part of my past.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage others to do that. We each heal on our own time. It's not something you ever forget.
Yeah.
So you learn to live with the new you, with that I'm sorry, with that being something that has occurred to you.
Right.
You learn to live with that fact, and you enjoy your life the best way you know how.
For sure. And then getting to write your book and helping others through your book. How has some of the feedback, because you've been doing a lot of Zooms and webinars and speaking engagements, I mean, people want to hear your story. So I know there's something therapeutic about it for you, but have you had other victims or survivors reach out to you, be like, thank you?
It has been so rewarding for me. I always hoped, but never imagined that I would touch the lives of women and men in their 60s and 70s who reach out to me to let me know that until they read my book, they were not able to actually come forward and say, this happened to me. When I hear that, I'm touched. I feel blessed along with them that they've either started their healing or are continuing their healing process. It's just so rewarding.
Absolutely. I could totally imagine that. And we're going to continue that topic in the next segment. So hold right there. Okay. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So Amanda, we would not be able to have you here and have this great book without getting an excerpt read to us. Would you be able to read us a little something?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to.
Awesome.
I'd like to read the poem titled I Am. I strive every day to be okay. I am as good as I'm going to be. And this is better than any of you may ever see. Understanding myself and why I feel the way I feel tells me how important it is for me to keep it real. And with God's help, I get to enjoy being free and taking this stand. I have the right to tell my story without being judged. You look at me with envy, sometimes scorn, as though you are without a smudge. I walk with my head up high and speak aggressively, for in my mind, no longer will I allow anyone to take advantage of me. I know who I am and what I should and shouldn't say. I take it with me. All the pain you placed upon me in this book, I shall let it lay. No longer running from my thoughts of you, for in this book, it is you I cast away. It is my duty to myself, my loved ones, and to God I say, I will continue to strive at being good every day. I am as good as I can be today, but tomorrow I will be better. Just you wait and see. Tomorrow I will be always as good as I am to be.
I love it.
Thank you.
And that's like the title piece of the book,
Yes,
actually.
yes.
How has sales been in terms of, so where are you published, first of all?
I'm published with Book Baby. I self-published through Book Baby, and the book is in all major stores nationwide. I'm really pleased about that. As a matter of fact, I found out Target sells my book.
Okay.
I was excited.
That's because you got some good PR.
Yes,
Shout out
of
to Sharon.
course. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do any of this without Sharon Lead of Netstruck PR. The book sales have been going pretty good.
Yeah.
Better than I thought it would be going. I'm really pleased.
That's a great thing to hear. Of course, with COVID, things had to pivot. So tell us about your new strategy. A lot of things are virtual. How's that affected you?
Oh, that was really scary for me. When I published the book, of course, in my mind, I kept saying to myself, this was not a good time to publish my book. It came out in February.
Oh, wow.
And with COVID going on. But one day I said to myself, you know what? This is a journey God put me on, and He's got this. So I hooked up with my an old friend of mine by the name of Sharon Lead. We worked together in the DA's office, who now does, she's a public relations person. And I hooked up with her, and she has made it so easy for me. She taught me how to get rid of my fear when it comes to the technology and the cameras. She's very good. So it's been going really well. And I'm actually looking forward to doing some more virtual stuff. Maybe even a book signing outdoors here and there. But I know,
be great.
I know Sharon's going to take care of that. She's on it.
She's already on it, so it's going to be perfect. How do we get in contact with you? Tell everybody at home about your contact info, social media, all that good stuff.
Okay. My website, they can reach out to me on my website, which is www.i-am-anda.com. They can connect with me on Facebook, I-am-anda, and I'll be sure to reach out to them. They can purchase the book at store.bookbaby.com, Amazon, Target, like I said.
It's a big one.
And when they go onto my website, they can even sign up for my blogs.
Absolutely.
I like to write my thoughts down. I'm sure it'll be helpful to some of them.
Oh, for sure, because people are looking for an outlet. 2021. What are your hopes? What are your long-term projections?
In 2021, I'd like to be still advocating for children's safety. I'm hoping there's another book in me to be written.
Would it be the same poetic style?
Yes, the same poetic style, talking about something different in my life. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So now you've caught the writing bug. Now you are really an author. You've coming out as an author. You've published,
Yes.
and you have the desire to write.
I know. I do. I really do. It's been so therapeutic for me.
No, that's great. When you see your journey, looking back, that you took something negative, you're making it into something positive.
Well, I don't really use the term taking something negative and making something positive. It's almost as though something negative happened, but I like to say there's always better days ahead, because you really can't take something negative and make it into something positive. I just want to feel that. I just want to continue saying it's made me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
It's made me more conscious of other people around me. The need to understand what happened to me helps me to empathize with others.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And you saw that firsthand when you were working, and you were probably able to pick up on certain things so quickly because you were exposed.
Yes. And the thing is, it helped them. So I'm happy that I chose the profession I chose. I'm happy I wrote the book. God is good.
And we are going to have you back because I definitely want to hear more, and I want to definitely get more info on this new book. So we will be having you back.
Well, thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you so much. It was awesome. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at jean@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.